what's up everyone, it's Dave. Welcome back to our channel. Today we're back. I'm going to start the review process of the solar street light that was sent to us by FUHONGRUI. I believe that's how you pronounce that. My apologies if I'm saying it incorrectly. But so we've done the unboxing video already. We've done the assembly video already. And now we're going to begin the review process, all right? So you're gonna see me in different clothes because this video is gonna take part over probably about a week, okay? So what I wanna talk about first is some of the features of it itself. I mentioned them briefly in the unboxing video, but so we've got a remote. And on this remote, it has these different choices, these different options. There we go. That's better. All right. So I want to talk about what each one of those are. So let's get into it here. There we go. All right. So on the light itself, which I showed you, and I'll show you again in another video, but there is a on and off button on the light itself, so you can turn it on and off, or you can hit the top button here, which is the power button, and that will turn it off as well. So it states here that basically there's 4 different things that are happening. It's going to charge under sunlight 6 to 8 hours. And then it's going to automatically turn on the energy saving mode from dusk to dawn. It's going to go full light once the sensor detects people's motion, and then energy saving mode once people leave after 30 seconds. It shows 360 degrees and that the light needs to be about 10 to 20 feet in the air. So there you go, there's that. Now I have currently have the light at about 8 feet up. So I do have another section of pole, so maybe I will make that change and lift it up a little bit higher. And I'm going to talk about what I've experienced so far in it, and then I'll show you a clip after this showing it in operation. But let's go ahead and talk about this remote first. So on and off button, I told you what that one was for, right? Now, sometimes it's hard for me to, even though this instruction manual is in English, sometimes it's there's a little bit of confusion, but we'll talk about that in a second. So as we go through here, you'll understand, because I'm just going to read it verbatim, all right? In the instructions, 1, on and off. Press to turn on the light, press again to turn off the light. That's pretty simple, so that's your top button here. Next is this button here, and it is labeled timing 2 hours. All right, so timing 2 hours, it states close every day after 2 hours of full light. So I don't know what they're trying to say by close every day after 2 hours of full light. Really not sure. The next button is timing 4 hours. So this button here in the middle, and it says the first 2 hours of the day is the constant light mode. The last 2 hours are converted into the semi-bright mode, then turned off. So the first 2 hours of the day, which here again, I'm assuming it is at nighttime, because that's the only time the light should be on. But it says the first 2 hours of the day is in constant light mode, so the light is on, and the last 2, it's into semi-bright mode. So, and then it turns off. So I'm assuming that the hours in between the first 2 hours and the last 2 hours, I'm not sure what it does in between those time frames. So Next one is the timing 6 hours. That's the one on the top right. Here again, first 2 hours of the day is constant light mode. Middle 2 hours are converted into the semi-bright mode, and the next 2 hours are converted to dim light mode. So maybe so that one actually has a middle mode to it. So basically 2, 4, 6, right? So the first 2 hours is in constant bright mode, and then the middle is kind of semi-bright mode, and then the last 2 hours are just dim mode. So yeah, not 100% sure on that one. That one, I mean, that one sounds a little more understandable. But here again, I guess it depends upon. So you're only going to have 6 hours of light, I think, is what they're saying at that point. So maybe instead of having having light come on throughout the night or on all the time throughout the night, it's just going to be the first 2 hours, middle, and then last 2 hours. So that actually is making a little more sense to me. So yeah, okay. So yeah, let's going back to number 3, which is the timing 4 hours. The first 2 hours that the light comes on, it's going to be in constant mode, and then the next 2 hours, which would be the last 2 hours because it's only 4 hours, it's actually going to be on, are converted into semi-bright mode, then turned off. Okay. And I'm going to do my best to put these to the test. The 6 hour timing one, that might be a little bit difficult for me to prove because I'm not at work 6 hours after it gets dark, so we'll see how that works. All right, the one that interested me the most is option number 5, which here is the sensing mode, the bottom left. The product converts into full light mode when it senses human or animal within 360-degree range and within 8 meters. When the person or animal leaves for a few seconds, it is converted into semi-bright mode. All right, so it doesn't specify how long it could last, but so this is the one that I can talk a little bit about, and you're going to see in the next clip that I show the sensing mode. However, it's not sensing. I guess that's the way that we'll put it. Or it is sensing, but I've got things that are moving around it, so I don't know how sensitive that sensor is. So I know. So I turned the light on once I got it assembled. You know, it was still daylight out. Got it put up. Click the power button, put it into sensing mode. Right, the light flashes at you twice, let you know that it has accepted the mode that you're clicking, and then when nighttime came, the light turned on, so it definitely did that all by itself. I didn't have to do anything, but it didn't turn off at all. So in sensing mode, it just stayed on. When I walked under it, it didn't change. It didn't change brightness or dim when I walked away. So what I'm thinking is where I've got it sitting at right now, maybe it's catching the air conditioner fan that's spinning. Maybe it's catching a tent flap, because as you can tell, I'm in a tent. So maybe it's catching a tent flap and it's not letting that light turn off. So maybe I'll try repositioning it and maybe putting it up higher. Maybe that'll help, I'm not sure. All right, the last button that it talks about is full light mode. So that's the bottom right one. It says the lamp is fully lit for 1 hour every day, half bright for 3 hours, slightly bright for 8 hours, then turns off. So that's kind of a cool mode as well. So That's a lot of hours. So you've got 12 hours. Yeah, 12 hours of light that it's promising to give you, which I truly believe that it will do that as well. Now there's a note. Sorry, because chapstick on. In each of the above items 2 through 6, each time it is pressed, it will be converted into the corresponding function. When the switch next to the solar lamp cover is pressed, when the switch next to the little solar lamp cover is pressed, the system automatically defaults to sensing mode. So I assume that it's talking about that the power button on the light itself. This one here. So this button here, right? So we'll have to give that a try as well. So notices, as this product is charged by solar energy, the actual charging statute and working time is related to the angle of the sunlight, illumination, local weather conditions, and the frequency of the lamp used. Obviously, if you use brighter light, it's going to not last as long. Lifespan of the battery is 5 years. Do not put the solar light into or close to fire, obviously. Solar light depends on the solar panel to charge. Keep the solar panel clean. That's definitely something I'll have to do. I'm in a very sandy, dusty area currently, so I will need to make sure that I keep it clean. And it says clean it every 2 months to make optimal solar charging. I'll probably need to do it a little bit more often than that where I currently am. So please turn off the solar light if you do not need to use it for a long time. Remarks, please charge under at least 6 hours for the first use. Clean it, insufficient charging or rainy days will affect it. And asking for some product reviews and other stuff on there in regards to the remarks. So awesome. So yes, it does say suggested installation height less than 20 feet. Like we said initially, detection distance is less than 800 feet. So yeah, I could I got a lot of stuff blowing in the wind around here, so yeah, the sensing piece of it may not work very well for me. Alright, so we're at 12 minutes and 55 seconds already in this video. But like I said, this is going to be a long video, so I'll try and maybe put some markers down below as to what we're doing. But I want to give this company an honest and true feedback. So the next little clip that I'm going to show you is just last night after it got dark. I went out there and took a little video of it lighting up the area. Very happy with the amount of light that it puts off. Now if we can just figure out these modes and see how that they work, we'll go from there. So the next clip will be it's in the sensing mode, but it's just staying lit and showing, and I'll do some more testing on that. So all right, stand by. Alright, so I know it'll be kind of hard to hear me, so hopefully you can though. I'm going to do a test. The next test is going to be the 2-hour timer, so we're going to click the 2-hour button, and whenever I do, you're going to see the light flash twice. So here we go. Alright, so just a 1 blink for the 2-hour timer. Maybe they're a little bit different for each one. Alright, so you've seen I did the 2-hour timer. And we're going to do the test on that tonight. So once it gets dark, I'll see if it comes on, and then I'll start a timer, and we'll see if it turns off after 2 hours. All right, so that's the next test. All right, it is 2 hours later, and it has turned off. So I'm curious if I walk up to it, will it come back on? No. Alright, so that's the 2-hour test is definitely works, and it turned off almost on the dot to it. So now I'm going to just put it into sensitivity mode. Whew! There we go. So it's back on for the rest of the night. So the 2-hour absolutely 100% works. That's pretty cool. So on to the next test tomorrow. Hey, what's up everyone, it's Dave. We're going to go ahead and cut this video off here. So this will be part 1. Part 2 will be next, and it will start with the 4-hour test. I know that typically speaking, unless you're watching some gameplay or something that you truly enjoy watching here on YouTube, most people have the attention span of a gnat. So I'm pushing it with this 15-minute long video anyway. So I thought it best to just stop it here, and then we'll start back up tomorrow on the 4-hour test. All right, thanks so much. God bless.
When life keeps falling and wonder where he is in all this mess, he's right there to guide you. Unseen, you're not alone.